here with Channie, who you will have seen in the Connection to Confidence mini-series, a rescue. I think we're now in 4 months of being taken out of a situation where he was in starvation. And we're having a little bit of difficulty in getting him to appreciate or understand the head collar. As soon as you pick it up, he avoids you. So we're here in a little round pen. So it's a controlled environment, and I'm just waiting on him. And he's going to come and slowly greet me. I'm going to engage. I'm going to lift the head collar away. He's going to avoid it. And then I'm going to drop it. So you can see his reaction to it. And I'm going to lift it again, and he avoids it. So I'm just going to let him walk away from it. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to chase him with it. I want him to be curious and have confidence enough that he knows that I'm going to listen and allow him to take the steps that he needs. And when he starts to relax a little bit into it, I'm going to just take the pressure away by dropping it down. So when you talk about consent, before consent, there has to be awareness. I have to be able to hear and see, feel and understand his rejection of what I would like him to do. And what I would like him to do is to be okay with me haltering him. Now I've decided, good lad, to use a rope halter, which I know some people think is harsh. It isn't, it's all in the hands. Good boy. I'm going to reach up, I'm not going to offer it to him, I'm just holding it. So he has full control of the conversation that we are having. And because he's becoming curious, he's getting more confidence. And he understands that I'm not going to launch for him. I'm just going to celebrate the curiosity that he has with the halter that I'm holding. Now the reason why I'm using a rope halter and not a regular rope webbed halter is because this particular halter has a lot of structure. So if I move, look at that, just a slight avoidance from opening it up. When I open it up, I already have space if he dropped his nose into it and wants to investigate it a little bit more. There's no metal, there's no buckle, there's no jangling. So the conversation has a lot less noise, a lot less white noise. I'm having to do a lot less with my hands. Good lad. Good boy. I'm having to do a lot less with my hands to have a halter in a position that I could put over his nose. Now I'm not going to, because I'm not in a position to do that. Good boy. So I'm slowly going to drop my hands I'm slowly going to raise my hand. Look, the raising of the hand is where I get the avoidance. But he comes back. I'm going to drop my hands. He drops his head. I'm going to raise my hands. I get avoidance. And he comes back. So he's trying really hard to understand the conversation that we're having. But the level of sensitivity and his threshold is really low. So I can drop my hands and he drops his head. He's continuing the conversation with the halter. But when I raise my hand, okay, that time he didn't. That time he stayed. That's great. He didn't avoid it. That's wonderful. So by allowing him to have consent to always look away, to acknowledge that, to be able to move the halter down and raise the halter up. This is my first step in actually haltering him. Now I'm going to pick up the rope now so that I can move positions. So that might give him some concern. I'm moving methodically and slowly, so I'm not making any big movements. But likewise, I am just being quite natural. So I'm shifting my energy around this pen, around the area, to see if he will come back to me here. Let's see if he comes back to me here. So he's found a nice little bit of grass to eat. He's got his ear on me and he's got his eye on me, so he's still part of this conversation. I'm going to let him investigate his environment. I'm going to call his attention, get a bit of focus in a moment. Hello. Hello. How are you? And because we had that gap, the likelihood is that I'm going to lower it. And when I raise it, there's a little avoidance, not as much as the first time, but we're starting the conversation again. We had a pause. And we're starting the conversation again. There's avoidance. And there's some relaxation. There's some curiosity and connection. So there's somebody doing some groundwork in the background, so you can see his ears are scanning. But that's all good. It means he's aware of his environment. Just moving my hand a little bit. Good lad. And that deep breath is going to be rewarded by removing any pressure, so dropping my hands. So him still being this close is a choice that he's making. He's consenting into the conversation. He's becoming part of the conversation. Hello. I'm just allowing him to engage with it, engage with me, engage with it. We're all part of one conversation. We're all connected. Very beautiful. So he found that quite pressurising, me putting myself in the haltering position. So I'm allowing him to back off. I want him to know that no matter what I do, he has the right to say, give me a moment. I'm going to try again. I'm breathing. Now, there it is. He can have that moment. He can take that step. The only prerequisite that I have is that I and you feel safe. If as long as we all feel safe. Hello. So he put his nose into the halter. He is shutting down. I'm doing no more than this until he gives me some relaxation. So he's not blinking. There's a blink. I'm going to breathe with him. Good lad. Raised his head a little bit. I'm just going to move with him. And down. Good boy. There's his ear. Good lad. So his ear began to scan. So it meant that he was coming out of shutdown, that he was becoming involved in the conversation again. He was freezing it out. Hello. Hello, my love. You're so handsome. You're so handsome. You're so handsome. You are. I'm going to put myself back into the position. There's a boy. Look how he's blocking me going down that side by looking out there. I'm going to look with him. There, he's opened the door. He's opened the door so I can come back here. Taking a step back. Too much for him. I'm going to walk away. Good lad. It's his choice. So him nibbling and eating is releasing tension, distracting himself, getting all that, the blood flowing back in his muzzle. So the art of consent is all based on being aware of the conversation that they're having with you and understanding that when they say, give me a moment, you give it. And to be able to do that, hello, my love, how are you? How are you? To be able to do that, you need to be able to have the time to allow it to play out. So if you know this is going to take you 10 minutes, make sure that you don't start it if you only have 5. If it's going to take you 20 minutes, don't start it when you only have 10. And when you finish the conversation, at no matter what level you finish it, make sure that it is positive. And that can be anything from an increased, I'm going to pee now. Wow, that's a stretch and a half. Right. So that's really important, because if they've got a full bladder, they're not going to be comfortable. So I was saying that we had the halter over his nose and he was in shutdown, he was freezing, and then he became more aware of his environment, his ears started moving, so I released the pressure off the halter and took a step back. The next time we do it, if we are having to finish the conversation, let's say we're running out of time and we need to finish this conversation, it doesn't mean to say I have to get back there or better. It could be just an engagement and him engaging with the halter. It's a positive moment no matter what. No matter where you finish, just make it positive. Don't think you can only finish on an increased moment, a better moment. That puts too much pressure on you and way too much pressure on them. It's just got to be nice. It's just got to be a nice, collaborative, engaged moment that you finish on. I'm going to move around, right, so I don't become static and fixed in one spot. Good boy. Good boy. And the other thing is, don't be greedy. I think this conversation is super positive, and a really good place to stop would be now, with him really investigating me, investigating the halter, investigating the rope. He's resting his head on it. He's engaging with it. It would be very easy for me to start again the whole process and start haltering him and forcing the conversation to satisfy my ego. The greedier we become, the less aware we are of what they need. And right now what he needs for me to do is to say, well done, you handsome fella. Thank you. And until next time, thanks for watching. Hey, Channie. Good lad. Good lad. Good lad.